Max, are you buying in on Watson? You got a buy order on him.
Absolutely, I'm buying Watson. I said it yesterday before the stock went up. I made some money on that, figuratively speaking. Don't gamble, kids. The point is, I would take Mahomes and Wentz and Goff. And truth be told, I'd take Baker Mayfield over Deshaun Watson, too. And that is it of the young quarterbacks. Winston or Mariota? Anyone taking Winston or Mariota over Deshaun Watson? You taking Sam Darnold or Josh Allen?
I wouldn't take Baker Mayfield over Deshaun.
Well, I understand that, too. That's a close call for me. I ain't taking your guy. I ain't taking Dak. I ain't taking Jimmy G, who can't stay on the field. Name a young quarterback in the league. You taking him over Deshaun Watson? Except for the 3 elite guys, and then Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson, I agree, they're neck and neck. Deshaun Watson, forget about, look, he comes into the league. Can he be accurate enough down the field, right? I think the answer is yes. Then the question is, what about those intermediate passes? He's better at that this year than he was last year, but more than all of that. And by the way, it's not just, picking up first downs with his legs. The way he escapes pressure, even in the pocket, eyes downfield, dancing on guys, taking a step here, a step there. It's beautiful to watch. Beyond all of that, Deshaun Watson, we all know people like this. He is a winner. He's on the Tim Tebow, Baker Mayfield spectrum of a guy who others want to play with, who instills confidence in those around him, who's so competitive. When Dabo Swinney compared him to Michael Jordan, everyone was like, what? But Michael Jordan's the kind of guy who wants to beat you at everything. Deshaun Watson strikes me as that kind of guy. He wants to win at everything. He's a winner. And that's what we saw last night. That's what we're going to continue to see so long as he stays healthy in the NFL by Deshaun Watson.
Of course, Deshaun Watson is worthy of that kind of accolades when you compare him to the other young quarterbacks in the National Football League. But when we think about the question that was asked, look at the last 3 words. After last night. Now, if you asked me this question before last night, I say exactly what Max just said. I completely agree. Which means I don't give a damn what happened last night. Last night told us nothing. Did you see who they were playing against last night? Did you see that Miami Dolphins team? Deshaun Watson had more touchdown passes than incompletions. More touchdown passes than incompletions. You had Fuller and DeAndre Hopkins doing whatever they wanted to do, 3 touchdowns, 206 receiving yards. You had Lamar Miller rushing for over 100 yards against these boys. Do you see how much space after the catch they had? How many times did you see somebody for the Texans catch a pass and there wasn't a Dolphin in the damn vicinity? And luckily, the technology has advanced to such a degree where we can see you when you're 20 yards away. They didn't play any defense last night. We learned nothing about Deshaun Watson last night. Now, if you want to sit up there and talk about him overall, I'm with you. You want to sit up there and talk about a young stud that he is, fine. I told y'all weeks ago Miami was fraudulent. And that's exactly what they are. Now, Tannehill's not in there. Brock Osweiler is there, having a half where he's looking as good as he looked when he was with Denver until he stupidly ran to Houston because he didn't want the challenge of accepting being the successor to Peyton Manning, and he went to bed in Houston. But in the end, what it comes down to is that the Texans, as far as I'm concerned, had a night off because their defense didn't show up. They were awful. And that's the bottom line. We didn't learn nothing last night from Deshaun Watson.
Whenever you see the equivalent of a first-year player, basically, that was Deshaun Watson's 15th career NFL game, really, because he got hurt last year. When you see a player with that little experience ball out like that, of course some of it has to do with the defense.
Some of it?
Yes, some of it.
I'm just saying nobody was in the vicinity. That's all I'm saying.
Hold on, real quick. We got stats on this, by the way.
Yeah.
One thing you're right on, one thing you're wrong on. Deshaun Watson last night had his most wide-open touchdown throw of his career.
That's all I'm saying.
But he also,
Credit Bill O'Brien, too.
I've got the stats right here as well. He also had the tightest window touchdown pass he's ever thrown in his career. So he did. Look here, Stephen. It's right there. There's the notes. Look at that.
Hold on.
Half yards to DeAndre Hopkins. Tightest window of Watson's career.
All right, let me express. I don't give a damn about that. I watched the game. I know what I saw. And I'm telling you, Miami's defense, all I'm saying, I'm not questioning anything about Deshaun Watson. I'm simply saying last night gave us nothing.
Look.
Nothing.
Look.
Because the Dolphins didn't show up. They were awful defensively.
Look.
Awful.
When you pass Kurt Warner or Ty, you start bringing up these names on lists.
He's right under Warner, right above Marino. Most touchdown passes.
In the first 15 games.
There you go.
Right. So I understand it's a new era. He is not the passer that Dan Marino was. I don't think he'll ever be the passer Dan Marino was. But a lot of players are playing in this era under these conditions, and it's Deshaun Watson who shows up there. Just like Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is great, but Patrick Mahomes, it's not necessarily he's the best ever. He's playing in an offense-friendly era. And yet, so are others, and it's Mahomes who's setting the records. Deshaun Watson sometimes was passing to wide open guys because when the pass rush came, when the pass rush came, he was dancing on.
I am excusing you. I'm totally excusing you.
No, you're interrupting.
Because the reality is that because you're trying to change my narrative. I'm saying I'm answering the question. We're only doing the subject because of last night's game. Nobody questioned Deshaun Watson. Who did it?
I am addressing
Nobody
your
did
Dolphins
it. I'm saying they didn't show up last night.
But when you say he's throwing to wide open guys, you're not wrong.
They weren't wide open?
But they were.
Okay.
You're not wrong. Forget about the one tightest window. It shows that he can thread the needle also. Basically, they were wide open. Credit Bill O'Brien, who I've been critical of recently. I give him the credit also, not just Watson. But you have to understand, when the pass rush got there, Watson was dancing on him, not just running for first downs, taking a step this way, a step that way, making guys look foolish.
Can I tell you something? That actually concerns me. I am somebody who has a few questions. I got a few questions about Deshaun Watson. I know the stats that he holds the ball longer than almost everybody in the league but Josh Allen. He plays off schedule. If he's going to catch your guys, and I think your list's not far off, if he's going to catch Wentz, Goff, Mahomes, Baker eventually, he's going to have to play on schedule. Not just amazing, on schedule.
Agreed. What do you think of him last night?
I thought it was really good last night.